What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Trent the Truth Show. I'm your host, Trent the Truth. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're listening from, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify. It's the Trent the Truth Show. And while you're doing that, make sure you give us a follow on social media as well. Instagram, TikTok, wherever you search, Trent the Truth. Real quick, today's episode is brought to you by Chicago Luxury Kennels, LLC. You don't just want a dog, you want a statement, a presence, a bloodline. Welcome to Chicago Luxury Kennel, where excellence is bred and luxury walks on four legs. Specializing with Frenchies, bullies, and many other exotic animals. Hand selected, health tested, and one of a kind. This ain't your neighbor's backyard breeder. This is pedigree. This is power. Prestige. Located in the heart of Chicago, we don't just raise dogs, we raise legends. So if you're ready for a dog that turns heads, stop scrolling, start owning. Chicago Luxury Kennel. Follow us now, because luxury waits for no one. Chicago Luxury Kennel LLC is the Instagram, where loyalty meets luxury. And that's actually really good, man. That's actually one of my partners. I follow him real closely. I've been dealing with him for a while, and he's real. He's serious about the dogs. He get into them real heavy. I be seeing him on the videos. He got the bite suit, so man, you send your dog to him. His dogs are well trained. I could be around him, so he do his thing. Make sure you hit up Chicago Luxury Kennels LLC. Contact him. And like I always make sure I tell you, if you want to be a guest, you want to sponsor an episode, you got any questions, comments, you want to donate to the cause, or anything like that, just hit me up at TrentTheTruthShow@gmail.com. Again, that's TrentTheTruthShow@gmail.com. And again, if you want to donate to the cause, our cash app is TrentTheTruth88. Again, that's TrentTheTruth88. And for the people out there in TV land, you can actually scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure you do that. It's actually easier to make sure if you want to donate to the Trent the Truth Show. But whatever you're doing, whatever you sending in, we always grateful for that. Just as long as you making sure you loving and engaging the Trent the Truth Show, we always grateful for whatever you're doing. And with all that being said, man, continuous proof of people loving the Trent the Truth Show, want to be a part of it, want to be guests. We got a special guest with us today. We got Chef Tina Ann. Come on, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. So nice to be here. I am Christina. I also go by Chef Tina. I'm a wellness coach. I specialize in nutrition. I'm a mother of 5, and I'm the wife of a very handsome gentleman people call Trent the Truth.
Oh, thank you. So glad to have you. It's actually an honor. I got you here not just to just to have you on. You're actually a successful entrepreneur. So I wanted to have you on to just give us a chance to find out about everything you've been doing, find out about your story, what all it took just to get to where you at the moment and where you're going. How your week been, actually? Just starting with all of that. How your week been?
Well, first off, I want to say that means so much, baby. That means a lot. So I appreciate that. But my week, it's been amazing. I got the chance to cater my first wedding.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, so that was everything. Getting the chance to do that. It was at a beautiful venue downtown. Like, it was everything you could ask for. A nice kitchen to prep everything. Like, it was amazing. Like your dream. It was amazing. So yeah, my week it's been busy. It's been busy and demanding, but absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't trade, any moment of it.
And that's actually a good thing. Congratulations doing your first wedding. How long you been in the business?
So I've had the business for 5 years now.
Okay.
5 years now. It's interesting. I was just talking to a friend about this. And I was like, yeah. I was kind of like doing a recap of my last couple of years, and I'm like, what was I doing from this year to this year? And I was like, man, I had young kids. I was taking care of them kids. So I've had the business for 5 years, but really been in the business, concentrating on the business. It's really only been like maybe the last 3 years, and really like growing and pushing and wholeheartedly being able to really focus on it now that a lot of the other kids have gotten older and can kind of help pick up with some of the chores and things like that. I get to focus on a lot of aspects of my business more. So really been like pushing at it. It's been like the last maybe year and a half.
Okay. And then see with the specifics of your business, you know, you can kind of filter your market like a lot because you specialize in vegan and seafood options or things like that, right? So how has that walk been? Or
well, if you really think about it, and how I'm trying to get other people to think about it, if you really think about it, I've actually broadened my audience, because some people are allergic to seafood, yes, but nobody's allergic to vegetables.
right.
So if we can get people to just open up their minds to the concept of, I'm okay with having a nice feeling plant-based meal every once in a while, not only does it benefit them health-wise, but it gives people the opportunity to try new things. It gives our ecosystem the opportunity to catch up in regards to people eating, so much meat, fish, all these things. Like, if we can just diversify our diets that bit and just having those options available and convenient, it can really honestly make a lot of change. So that has a lot to do with why I do what I do.
Okay. So like what was some of your personal reasons that made you decide I want to get into healthy eating? Or like did you have any health issues or anything like that? Or is that just how you grew up? Or like what was it that helped spark this whole like super diet type of change of diet kind of thing? Like were you always on a vegan or pescatarian diet? Have you ever eaten meat? Or like describe that? When did the change happen?
I'm laughing because you obviously know the answers to these questions. And I know that a part of you resents the fact that I don't eat meat anymore, because I don't really cook it anymore. And I know you miss that. But
not necessarily. I like the changes. I mean, like I said, you helped me grow to be open. I get a lot of compliments on the fact that how I'm able to slim down. I'm learning about more foods. You introduced me to a lot of foods that I probably wouldn't have touched or went near if it weren't for you. So, you're making progress in those things. So, like, I mean, just how did that happen for you? Was it an easy introduction?
I appreciate that. That's what it's about. For me, honestly, it was just playing with my diet. Now, in hindsight, having studied nutrition more and learning about digestion and things like that, I probably had like a digestive issue that I hadn't gotten diagnosed. So for me, instead of going through that whole process of going to my doctor, hey, I'm not feeling good, I'm having these really bad stomach aches, I just started playing with my diet and kind of eliminating things that I felt like I would feel worse after eating. So that's what it started with. I cut out meat, like, let me just see how I feel after cutting this out. Cut out meat, felt so much better, because those stomach aches really, really would be like, kind of debilitating for a minute. And it was kind of like something that nobody really even knew that I was dealing with. So, decided to play with my diet. It got better from there. Then I kind of noticed like, I ate something really, really heavy on the dairy side, and I just did not feel good. I was pregnant at the time too, and I just felt so congested. I was like, I'm done eating dairy. I'm done. And so from there, I was done eating dairy because I noticed that it didn't make me feel good, so I stopped eating it. So it's really just been my own experimentation and realizing that the better I feel is based on the more whole, the more alive, the more wholesome the ingredients are. And sometimes it just doesn't have to always revolve around meat or something really creamy and fatty. It can just revolve around something that just looks colorful and beautiful and delicious, and that is good for you.
Okay, and that's actually a good thing. So you didn't necessarily grow up that way. It was once I got older, I started to try to continue eating these ways, and my body didn't respond that way. So it's more so listening to your body, understanding what my body really needs, real fuel for my body, more than just eating what I was served. Or
It's kind of 50-50. So the way I grew up, my dad, he was actually an herbalist. So he
Okay.
was somebody that was really, really heavy into using plants as medicine. And so I can remember him making like his garlic, lemon, and honey tonics, and doing all these natural remedies. So he was into that aspect of health, and would be like, you eat to live, you don't live to eat. But at the same time, where we lived, rather, where I grew up at, it was what you would call a food desert. It's mainly just fast food around there. So while he had this knowledge and was instilling this knowledge into me, what we kind of had access to was on the contrary. So that's kind of what we grew up eating, but it's not necessarily how we grew up thinking.
Where you grew up at?
On the south side of Chicago, like 79th and Jeffrey.
Okay, over east.
Yeah, over east.
East side crazy.
Yeah.
Your ass is.
Shut up.
But and see, that's a good thing though. Like I say, you just continue you started to listen to your body, and you saw the results you was getting, and then it just kind of spread to a household thing, and then you start getting more results from friends and other family, and then you just, is that how it happened, where you discover like, you know what, I got something here? Or what made you decide to take it from having the knowledge internally in the household, making sure you work on me? I probably was the hardest. So you work on me, you get successful with me, I get down, I like it. What was it that made you decide to start the business? Or you already had these goals and ambitions? Or like when did you see that, okay, I got something here? Or you already knew you had something and just wanted to see how you could navigate it and bring it to life?
So honestly, this whole process has been an evolution. What I did know by maybe about 25, we probably got about 2 kids at the time. It's like, man, I got to find something to do to make money. Something to do to make money that revolves around being able to still be here, for these kids, as a wife, as a mother, that type of thing. But it also has to be something that I enjoy. So initially I was like, I'm going to sell food. I'm going to sell plates, because that was big at the time, selling plates. I was like, I'm going to sell plates. But for me, I was like, no, I knew all the regulations that was behind it, and I wasn't okay with just like jumping out there. So I was like, no, I'm going to start out by getting in school. In the meantime, I had a company called Drinks on Me. And so I would go around to barbershops, nail shops, beauty salons, things like that, and sell these little pouches, like these little alcohol pouches.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was pretty successful. It was cool.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. It was cool. So I would do that, Uber, Flex, that type of thing. But then I was just like, man, I need something more stable. So I started looking around for something else in the food industry. I also wanted the experience, you know? So I started looking around for something in the food industry, got hired at a cafe called Olivia's. I loved Olivia's. I stayed there for like 5 years. I loved Olivia's. But I ended up becoming a manager within like maybe a year or so. And like I said, I loved Olivia's, but I would walk through there and something would just tell me like, man, you are meant for more than this. Like, you know what you're doing. You're playing a great part here, but you're meant for more than this. And I never really, I mean, I would listen to it and I would be like, man, I'm going to enroll in school. I'm going to enroll in culinary school so I can really get this going and, just use this job as the fuel, that type of thing. But it really like just never happened. And so it really wasn't until we had our situation with Trinity where it was our very first girl that we were expecting, and she ended up being a stillborn. And I kind of just felt like, man, like I was working really hard. Like, man, I was working so hard, just thinking that I'm doing the right things. And all in all, like maybe I just wasn't as present as I should have been. And from that moment on, I just never wanted to have that regret of feeling like, man, maybe I didn't do for myself what I should have done. So I kind of put in the plan then, like, okay, how can you start to live your life for you?
Right.
That was the plan. How can you start to live your life for you? So the first thing was like, okay, minimize expenses. Because if you can minimize expenses, then you kind of minimize that load and that burden of having to feel like you got to be in the grind, the 9-to-5 grind, as opposed to like really living your life the way you want to live it. So minimize expenses. That was one thing on my list. The next thing was finding a way, because the system that we live in, you have to have a way to generate some income. Finding a way to generate some income that I can still enjoy and live my life the way that I want to live it. So those became the two things that I like really wanted to focus on. And so from there, I decided to go ahead and enroll in the school. So I enrolled in the culinary school. I did end up going back to the cafe for a while. So I'm going to school, working at the cafe, doing that. And then COVID hit. And I was like, this is my sign. Like, I'm done with the cafe. I'm all in. Like, I started the business. COVID hit, end of 2019, started the business March 2020. And I was just like, I'm in this thing. Like, this was meant to be started. And I've been having it going ever since then.
So it's really, it damn near sound like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
You go from place to place. You start with the drinks, end up in a restaurant. You get the whole vibe. You see the whole setup. You see what the whole restaurant scene is missing, which was your services, your food. And then you start to just roll right into that. Like really just not necessarily no plan, but just like headstrong. I'm going right in. This is what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I mean, and I did always have a feeling, because my style of cooking has always been centered around how can I use these ingredients to best benefit the body, instead of it being just solely around like, man, how can I make this taste the best? Yeah, that's part of the goal. We want this to taste the best, but at the same time, how can we use these ingredients as medicine? Like, that's always the core goal. And I really think that we've gotten away from thinking like that, because if we hadn't, people would eat more vegetables. People would, shop in our fresh sections more than they shop in those in the processed section. Because
Well, you know why? You know why though? Like you talk about this a lot. There's a lot of food deserts out here. They take away our leaders. They took Savy from us. Rest in peace, Dr. Savy. He kept us in tune with all of the different natural foods and fruits and vegetables and different ways you can heal yourself. And so it really it left us out to fend for ourselves. And if it wasn't really for people like yourself able to get a chance to just have that courage just to come out and educate masses like that, we really don't have anybody. Not to say you're trying to fill holistic shoes or trying to be Dr. Sabi or no shit like that, but it's just everybody has a part to play in how you gonna save yourself.
Yep.
And it starts with yourself, and then you start with your house. You're doing it the way the plan starts. Like, you don't try to get the other people straight and you not straight first.
Exactly.
Like they always say, get your house in order But I got my house in order. We good. We on the same page. It was a struggle. Shit. You going from steak to mushrooms, or ground turkey to
But the struggle prepared me for the input that
black beans.
You gotta find a way to diversify and find some common ground between what you're used to, and know that it's not going to be exactly the same. But that experience allowed me to be ready for the experiences that I am going to be presented with in the world, because some people are fully on board and so happy to see the cuisine when they see it. So happy to have it available, like, oh my God. And because I'm one of those people.
Right.
My diet is so selective. When I see some place that I can eat and it's actually worth paying for, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. So there is that customer out there. There is that persona out there that is already looking for this cuisine. But then there's also that persona out there that just needs to be shown that this cuisine is flavorful. And I get those people all the time that are willing to just try it. And they're like, this is so good. I can do this.
Right.
So it's just about exposing people to the fact that you can do things differently, and the fact that there is honestly a need to do things differently. Like, in terms of certain dietary illnesses, there's a certain need to want to eat a plant-based dish at least 3 to 4 times a week. And if you think about it, that's not terrible. If you're eating 3 times a day, to eat a plant-based dish at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Right. It's one meal. One meal out of the 3 you're going to have a day.
Not even that.
But a lot of people don't give themselves that kind of chance. A lot of people don't care about their health, and they wait until it's too late.
And that's why it's awareness. If we bring that awareness to the forefront more, if it's something that we're talking about and they're hearing about it and they're like, man, I've been hearing that I need to stop eating this, and they come across it and that comes across their mind, the more it comes across their mind, the more it's going to get to them like, nah, I'm going to choose something else today.
But you know what though? And see, I see this a lot. Like I'm on social media a lot. I see people in great shape, and I see the foods that they share that they eat, and they're eating meat. And they're eating some of the things that you may have cut out under the whole umbrella of health. But that's a wide umbrella. And it's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong if you're eating meat. So is it meat exactly, or is it the preparation of meat? Is it the oils that we use, and what is it? Or is it just meat altogether?
That's actually a great question. So I'm a firm believer in the fact that everybody is different. For me, meat is not for my gut and my digestion. Dairy is not for me. That's me. And I'm not even a big... so when it comes to me, I'm cool on meat. I don't even want to eat it at this point. When it comes to dairy, if I come across a baked good or come across something where it's like I want to taste it, I'm not a firm vegan. I'm a pescatarian. I do eat meat. And there are so many... Now you're not really stuck into a box these days. There are so many variations to that. You can still eat dairy if you want to. You can still eat that if you want to. Right. For me, I know what makes me feel best. And so that's the diet that I try to adhere to. Yeah, I go against it sometimes and I pay for it later. But that's the part about choosing what's best for you. So no, it's not about the meat, especially, if your system can digest the meat and you are actually getting that meat locally. You're actually getting meat where it's organic. You know where it comes from. Right. Because these days we don't really know where this meat is coming from. No. Let's be honest.
I tell people in a joke a long time ago, but now it's like starting to make so much more sense. I told somebody, I said, we've been out of chicken. Like, there is no way. Me, you, 2 more people, we could all be in the same room. We could all call and order 100 wings.
Only 2 of each thing on every chicken.
Right. So it's like,
Ain't no way.
Once you start thinking about stuff like that,
How are we really?
it'll
making
deter
this
you.
chicken?
It'll deter you. So, even with myself, I haven't fully cut out meat. I don't know if I have any plans to, because see, the type of diet that I like to stick with, along with the things that you've shown and taught me and that I found out, I'm more so the type to go with my blood type. And even my blood type tells me to watch out for chicken. Like, leave that alone. So, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about doing what's best for you. The point is awareness. Because as long as you're aware, as long as you're not just eating anything and not paying attention to the way it makes you feel, then you're practicing awareness, and you're 9 times out of 10 not going to be one of those people that end up in the hospital surprised about what ailment they have.
Right.
Because you're aware of the different ways you feel based on what you're putting into your body.
There's people that take that outer appearance and let them trick them. Like, I may look good, I may have muscles, or I may be in some sort of outer shape, but internally I got high cholesterol.
And I mean, there is science behind
I'm
it.
a diabetic.
There's nothing wrong with meat, but it is high in cholesterol. So just having some meals where you give yourself a break on that one thing, too much of anything isn't good.
Right.
So just having some meals where you give yourself a break on the high cholesterol, the saturated fats, certain things like that. Even when it comes to snacks, like, snacks can be really sugary. They can have a lot of saturated fats. Like, you have to start reading these labels. And yeah, we live in a really busy life where it may not be convenient to make your own granola bars. I totally get that. But sometimes that means just limiting the amount of access that we give ourselves to those things.
That's true.
So
it's just caring about your health. Just even with the things that you're giving, being in food deserts, you still just gotta make conscious decisions, or just try to survive the best way you can. Prepare your foods better. Use different oils, better oils.
Intention. I was just talking to a friend about this. Everything is about intention. If we just stop more and think about, what intention do I have with this? Am I eating this because I want it not only to fill me, but I want it to be nourishing to me? I want it to, fuel my cells. I'm not just eating this big old plate of pasta because I feel like eating a big old plate of pasta. I'm thinking about the fact that I do still need some fiber. I'm thinking about the fact that I do still need some protein. I'm thinking about the fact that I do still need some healthy fats. Like, we gotta start keeping these things in mind as we're eating. And I know it can sound like a lot, but if you just get in the habit of thinking about, remember they used to have that plate where it would have like the meat, the dairy, the this, the that. If you just start thinking about it, okay, my protein, my fiber, my fat, if you start thinking about your macronutrients, am I hitting those bullet points when I'm eating a meal? That's really all you gotta do.
You make it sound so simple. Like I can just go tomorrow. I'm used to eating fried pork chops and all other kinds of bullshit foods, and tomorrow, just from the way you explained it, I can just.
You definitely have to want to.
That's true.
You have to want to, because baby, no, that fried pork chop is probably not going to taste the same as maybe like, I feel like me, because I'm a healthier eater and I'm okay with doing that. You got to make a little bit of sacrifice. A fried pork chop is comparable to a shallow fried, like turkey chop. Be okay with making those little changes. Be okay with that little bit.
The small steps.
Yeah, do a little. Just a little
you're not gonna make the grand leaps.
Just a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
You're not gonna go from gyro burgers to king oyster mushrooms. Like that.
And that's okay.
Not in a day.
That's okay.
Not in a day. But
it's
as long
okay.
as you're taking a small stride.
Make an effort to diversify that diet. Okay. If I had that gyro burger yesterday, let me choose something better today.
A salad.
Even if it's not the greatest, let me make some type of swap today. Okay, I'm still eating a burger today, but damn, I'm gonna make it a veggie burger where I'm still getting some good protein because I got my beans.
Right.
I got my, whether, and sometimes it might take that you have to make it at home. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because other than that, it's hard to find those options that make it convenient to choose better. Because when you really understand protein, you understand that you need certain things.
Right.
When you're eating a burger, yeah, I'm eating a burger, but I want to be able to get that same amount of protein that I would have gotten for a meat burger. So that means I have to actually compare. I have to pair beans with the grain in order to get that complete protein that I would have gotten from that meat. And not every place is putting that type of thoughtfulness into the food. So sometimes right now it's going to take that you make it at home, but that's the goal, is to have more people and companies like me that are making those thoughtful decisions to where you're eating out and you can get that complete nutrition that you need.
That's good. That's good. So really just start by taking the small steps.
Definitely.
But that didn't really work for you though. You said you just set up and explained within a 3.5 to 4 year span, you started selling drinks.
I'm an all or nothing kind of person.
Now you went from drinks to plates to now
so
you have.
I went from drinks to just regular catering to I'm going to strictly focus on healthy cuisine. I said it was an evolution. It completely was.
Focusing on healthy cuisine, going out into markets with the food that you have, trying to introduce it to a person who's really not as knowledgeable as they should be about healthy eating. Like what kind of wall, how tall was that wall that you had to climb? Before you could even give people what you have, you definitely got to break that barrier of them being educated on the food you're about to give them, or why it's healthy for them, or letting them know the shit that they've been eating probably isn't the best option. Like what kind of wall was that before you even got to business of fulfilling wedding orders? Because that's big. One thing don't play about food with weddings. So to be able to get to that point, to surpass those educational walls, like how did that start out? Like what kind of was that an easy process, or you just had to just?
Nothing is easy.
Right.
Nothing is easy. Nothing that you truly want is easy. But what I would say is really just knowing what I wanted.
Right.
Was the biggest thing. There's been, really, you call it a pivot. What's been big for me is education. Education has been big for me. I do a lot of business accelerators, and I do a lot of being in the room with the same kind of people that want to achieve the kind of things that I want to achieve.
Okay.
So because of that, it puts me in a certain mindset. To where I know that there are going to be challenges, and I also know that I have to know who my customer is and be okay with knowing what I serve, the brand that I want to have, the message that I want to get across, and knowing that everybody is not going to be my customer. So with that said, I do go out into markets and things like that. But I try to target markets where I know I'm probably going to find my customer. Because my customer is out there.
You got to go to where the white people at.
Not necessarily. You'll be surprised. Because I am my customer. And I don't live in a white neighborhood. And I'm happy to pay the prices that I charge for the kind of food that I have. So my customer is certainly out there, and I find them all the time, like I said. So I try to do that bit for myself of being at those places where my customer is. But I try to also have this sector of my business. Not that I try, I do. I have this sector of my business where I'm doing that outreach. So through different programs and organizations that I partner with, like Teamwork Inglewood and Advocates for Community, all these little different programs that I partner with, I get to go out into the community and introduce new healthy foods to people that might not have been willing to try it. So I got this sector of people that are willing to pay for that kind of food, and then I got this sector of people where I'm getting paid to expose them to this kind of food. And that's really the sector that I enjoy the most, honestly.
That's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's good. So at the beginning of the show, you did inform our viewers and listeners that you are my wife. How has all of that been? That you set up here, you started a business, and you got 5 kids, and you married. Not just you married to me. How are you able to keep that balance? Like, what's going on with that? Like, how does that look? And really just explain to them, just how you piloted it on. How you piloted it on me. Or how are you balancing that life? How are you able to make sure that you still able to find time to be mom, find time to be wife, and all those other things that's in a way required.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I think one, acknowledging that nothing is going to be easy, because I do have those moments where I'm just like, why is this so hard? Like, do I even want to do this? Because why is this so hard? And then honestly, you give me a pep talk a lot of these days. Like, look at what you're trying to do. Like, come on, you doing, who do you know that's doing this? Why do you expect it to be easy? So acknowledging that, it's like, man, take one step at a time. Know that you have to make time for yourself. Like, I'm really, honestly, and for me, you're outgoing. I'm more of the introvert. So you're a little introverted too, but for me, you more outgoing. You got a lot more friends than I have.
I'm all the way introverted.
You got a lot more friends than I have, and things like that. But so in the last maybe 2 years, I've had to really make the effort to put myself out there and developing kind of a new personality that you have to have with having a successful business. Like, you have to be a people person.
Right.
So in doing that, I've kind of had to just navigate that and learn that when I'm that person, but it's okay to know that when I need a break, when I need time for myself, that's what I need. And you've even grown to understand that and be okay with that. And I appreciate that, because the more this thing grows, the more it's required teamwork. And I appreciate that everybody has been stepping up. You have been amazing. My auntie, your mom, like, people have been not necessarily forced to, but in the past, I may have been too prideful to call upon these people and be like, man, I need your help. Whereas these days, it's like, man, I need your help. And y'all have been coming to the rescue. So I truly appreciate that. That's the main thing. It's a group effort. And just knowing what you truly need to be successful, whether it's on alone time, whether it's, constant fortifying your passion or your need for knowledge and information. I know, like, I have a huge need for knowledge and information. Like, I'm constantly, in school for something. And some people would say that that's not always good, but for me, it keeps me on my toes, because I'm constantly learning about what I'm doing. I'm constantly implementing new things. So just finding a way to keep things fresh for you and find that balance between what you need, what the people around you that you love need, and making sure that you're not giving yourself any excuses to give yourself the best out of every single day.
Okay, so the cameras is off. We're not recording no more. Give me a real answer. Like, how are you able to keep the balance between work, life, mom, wife? Like, what is that looking like? Like, it's just like really.
The honest answer.
Yeah, like,
I do smoke some weed. I do. It helps. It helps a lot.
What helps you get through it? Or what helps you get through it? Or what helps you make sure? What helps you make sure you're doing your part? Like, Is there something
The
that
people around me.
right?
I can't do everything. The
Okay.
people around me help me make sure that I'm doing my part, because I can't do everybody's part. And 5 kids, I understand that they are ours, but as a mother, so many expectations will make you feel like that you should be everywhere at once, and being okay with the fact that I can't be everywhere at once. It took me so long. I still struggle with that. It took me so long to acknowledge and be okay that I cannot be everywhere at once, and be okay
But
with
see,
accepting help.
that's where you got me. That's where it comes into
Exactly.
teamwork. That's the teamwork.
Yeah.
But see, that's where that's really what I wanted to get out. Like, because I know you go about things. You have good days. As far as a business side, where a business day, a good business day, you may spend 10, 12 plus hours away, gone. But you're not missing events, but it's still just time.
Yeah.
And
no,
what
it
is
still
that?
feels like missed events in time, because the kids, they never want me to leave, and I a lot of times I hate to leave them, but I have to remind myself, what do I want to leave them in the grand scheme of things?
Right, because we building something.
Definitely.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it's really more so like a lesson for. Because what will it be next May? 13 years. 13 years, and I don't
and it
know.
flew by. So imagine how quick the next 2 or 5 are gonna fly by.
I got some strong game. Keep you around. But see, it's more so like, see, I look at a lot of things though, baby, and I'm grateful for it. I look at a lot of things. Been together 13 years. Married 4. And that took a while.
Work for that ring, right?
You have to.
You made me work for that ring.
You have to.
No, I wasn't even really concerned about it. When you was like, you were ready to get married, like, it was literally all.
Because at first we wouldn't.
You planned the whole wedding, everything. Like, I don't be concerned about a lot of, like, for me, that's slightly worldly, because the only difference is the ring.
Right. The paper, the obligation, who got the final say.
Not even the obligation.
Like,
you were obligated to me anyway.
Shit like that. Like,
you was obligated to me anyway.
Because we was at a common law point. It was our 8-year anniversary. No, so it was our 7th year anniversary that I was like, you know what? This our last year playing boyfriend, girlfriend and shit. We gonna go on and do it. And you ain't believe me then. Because of what we said, not
because of the way you wanted to do it, right? Now,
right.
Had you said we just gonna go to the courthouse, I've been like, oh, all right, cool,
right?
But you wanted to go to Vegas. We had just had Tasia. I'm like, how do you think this is gonna work? Like, I don't see it. Whatever, I'm gonna let you figure it out, and you did.
My OnlyFans page just started going crazy. I'm talking.
I like, where are those residuals? I have not seen them.
No, man, all off the sweat of cuts and investing. We was able to do it the right way. First class flights.
That was so cool.
Penthouse at the Bellagio.
The Bellagio. I was so impressed. I was thoroughly impressed.
I let you wear my big chain.
I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, it was a great event. It was a great event. And even with everything going on, it may look like a clusterfuck with a lot of people. We both got businesses. I'm a barber. You a chef. We got 5 kids. It's a marriage. It's damn near like we celebrities. Where, a lot of times we don't get a chance to meet each other. Sometimes we don't get a chance to see each other. And shit, sometimes it can kind of get like, what the hell? What the hell-iante? So it's like we down there got to steal time. We down there got to figure out. But it's a lot of couples that go through shit like that.
That's true.
And they trying to start something, or they may feel like because we got this situation, we got all these kids, then maybe we can't start something, and maybe somebody preventing them. And it's probably the guy. It's probably the guy preventing that, because like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody has to make the sacrifice.
Exactly.
Somebody got to make the sacrifice, and a lot of times it ain't gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
So where the mom has to make the sacrifice, and she has to put her goals to the side, or her ambitions.
And that's really, like I said, it's really just comfortability. Because if you think about it, if we are both putting ourselves in an uncomfortable situation, We have no choice but to grow. Who doesn't want to grow? So if you really think about it, like just the uncomfortability is what a lot of men don't like. Women, we're usually always ready and willing to grow. And that's why they always stay behind it. Every successful man is a good woman because we're always like pushing that growth.
But y'all ass don't know what y'all want.
We pushing growth though. That's all I know.
Y'all ass don't know what y'all want. I remember it was a time you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and that you got bored doing that.
You gotta
and that's what got you back out in the workforce. That's why you went to Olivia's and started looking for something to do and all of that.
You have to find what makes your life worth living in full color, if that makes sense. At some point, we always put the kids in daycare because we know they're going to learn better that way. We always put the kids in daycare. So during the day, what am I doing?
How long was that though? Like how long? Because I remember we had the conversation.
What?
Well, can I quit my job or some shit like that? And,
when?
I don't remember the date, but I'm just
no.
saying,
What job was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of things.
It was something where you had to do some metro train shit for go down.
Oh yeah. No, I was
one of those type of things.
I was pregnant with somebody. I want to say maybe Tyler. I was pregnant with somebody, and yeah, man, that was a long ass Trent Van Buren, and they was playing games with me about something. You know, I don't play games with people. So yeah, I had quit there, and I don't think I worked until I had him. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a lot of situations where I've grown so much. And I totally have to give you credit because somehow I was probably a spoiled brat, even though I probably spoiled myself just based off like maybe luck or just being because
it's your daddy's fault.
But still, I took care of myself. But I was lucky to have been in those positions, if that makes sense. And when I got here, that same luck wasn't necessary, or maybe those same opportunities weren't here. And so to have not been around somebody that was like mentally as like strong as you were, like could have been detrimental, because I didn't always used to be this mentally strong. Like doing what I do now, being who I am now, you have to be mentally strong. And I did not always used to be like this at all.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because I'm sure you remember that, you know, it would just be some days that I would just be crying and I'd just be like, man, I don't know. And that's the thing. You have to figure out what's for you. You have to figure out what your purpose is. You have to figure out what's going to get you up every day with the enthusiasm. Yes, your kids, you love them. They bring you joy. They bring you purpose. But at the end of the day,
it got to be something more than that.
One day they're going to go off and they're going to be husbands. Right. They're going to be wives. They're going to have their own lives.
What are you going to have?
What do you have for you?
What are you going to have? Exactly. But at the same time, it's not necessarily what are you going to have. What are you going to have with the people? And we can focus on the things all we want. But it's also making sure you're strengthening those relationships with the people you have. And making sure, like I was saying, making sure with everything we got going on, even with myself, I'm a football coach as well.
Yeah.
Barber, you know, rotate a lot of clients. Heavily involved, just staying busy like that. You know, you just got to make sure you factor in.
And you don't miss any of the kids' events.
Nothing.
Like, that's one thing I truly appreciate.
I don't miss none what the kids doing.
Yeah.
I get all my clients up early. Up late with you when we go to the kitchen.
I might have to drag you, but you come.
It's a lot, but it all just goes back into just the plans you make. Like when we got together, like shit, I ain't had nothing. I ain't had my finances together. You say that
all the time. Like you didn't have these goals when I met you.
You didn't. You ain't had these goals when I met you. I ain't had my dollars together. I ain't had these clients. Like I wasn't even cutting hair.
That's growth, baby.
I wasn't even cutting hair. I had to put cutting hair down. Hair cutting down. I had to put it down for a little minute.
Yeah.
We met at the damn call center.
Right.
For real. Your ass was late.
What?
You was late.
You were late.
No, I wasn't.
You were. Well, how? This is so you. You were late, not me. I was sitting there
You late all the
watching
time.
you come in with your little train slip talking about the train was late. I wasn't late, okay?
Oh, if the train was late,
So
then
who
shit,
was
it wasn't
late?
me.
Who was late?
If the train was late, it wasn't me. If the train was
I
late,
was
it wasn't
sitting
me.
there ready and prepared, okay?
Ready and prepared to attack me.
Stop
and
it.
That's
Don't
how you came
start.
in.
Don't you
That's
start.
how you came in.
Don't you start.
Do I have to tell the story?
Oh my God. You was not even my type. You know I liked older
Here she go.
men.
Here she
You
go.
know I liked older men with their stuff established, okay?
Here
You took me by surprise.
Yeah, I'm him. Timothy Duncan. Him Duncan. Well, see, and see, these are the stories that we're gonna be able to tell our children. You know what I'm saying? And some of them we already told them. But what I remember, we was on lunch. This is first day of work, right?
It was.
First day of work. We was on lunch, and it was we sitting like this. We in a little booth. It's you, me, and it were two other young women sitting across from me. I forget their name. One was like Erica, not Erica, like Liz, Liz, and I forget. I don't know.
Natasha, I want to say.
Okay, right. Okay, it probably was right. Okay, and shit, I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at Liz. Like shit, she looked a little fiery.
Okay.
You know,
and see you.
She looked a little fiery. You know, 1-2 dribble step layup. You know, one of those. So we talking, we vibing, we chilling. We was talking about Sierra's.
Not
video.
that y'all was personally talking about.
Right. No, it
wasn't
wasn't that. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't that. It wasn't none of that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really go fishing like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get caught. You know, but so we sitting talking, chilling, we vibing, and we was talking about that Sierra video. Yeah, and y'all was I hadn't seen it. You know what I'm saying? You know, 'cause I don't really be into all of that. I hadn't seen it, and the two women they was talking about it. And I think you had joined in. You was like, oh, something, chirp. I don't know. I don't remember. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't seen it. You know. And I'm looking at the menu. We had a pizza place. We was at what was it, Gino's East. Yeah, so I'm trying to eat. You know, we got an hour to eat. Pizza gonna take 45 minutes, so I'm trying to get right. And then I was like, I haven't seen the video yet. And I think right after I said that, you had just like flashed your phone on. You remember the Funky Finger Productions from The Living Color when he would ask for a card, and he was like, oh, where is my card? I can't find it. And he would, bam! Yeah, that's how you popped out with the phone on the video and shit.
Oh my God.
So so I was able to look at the video, but the way you did that,
you was on my radar. You
it was slightly aggressive, and the antennas that I have, they strong, so I'm able to pick up on.
Honestly,
just
a
little bit of seasoning, saying that you was dropping down.
For some reason, like you were like a little bit standoffish, and I'm the type I kind of bother people. Like, I don't know, I was slightly bothering you.
That was part of the game.
I don't know if it was necessarily with the intent of trying to get with you, but I was
like
slightly
you don't
bothering
see them.
you.
Act like you don't see them. They don't exist.
Exactly.
They don't exist, and it worked. 13 years later,
whatever.
It worked.
Whatever.
And I still ignore you.
And I ignore you back.
Not saying it like that, but it works, fellas. See, that's just a lesson in dating. A lot of times stuff be going on, and I be hating it. Like, I be trying to just be gentlemen to women, not even on nothing at all.
Women will definitely come to
You'll open the door for them or something like that, and they'll be afraid, or you'll say hello just trying to be friendly, and they'll think you just trying to make a crazy advance. And those are just some of the weird ass experiences that they deal with from men that's just overly aggressive.
Yeah, it's sad. But then on the flip side, you also got your women that realize that you married and be on you like a hawk. I know it. I just know it. So, it go both ways.
I mean, it does. And you got to know how to fight all of that.
And not
it's
be
a crazy
naive,
dynamic.
gentlemen.
It's a crazy dynamic.
I hear so many stories in the barbershop about men just being naive. I didn't know that she would be upset about this.
What are you doing in the barbershop? I mean,
it's a place of relaxation.
But even still, though, you gotta watch how you act, and you gotta watch what you're doing. But it's just a crazy dynamic, and I talked about this in Musical Chairs. The ratio, is 7-1. So you just got some people that are gonna be without. So what they do is they tell themselves that I'm okay with taking a piece of this, because a piece of something is better than 50% of something. It's better than 100% of nothing.
And I doubt they even get 50% because
no, they don't.
That other woman not okay with 50%. She probably maybe in order for that to work, you have to give the other woman at least 70, and then the side has to be okay with accepting that 30 or less.
But they ain't never okay with that. They swear they be. Sometimes.
That's why it's like.
And then you get some of them that they do their job, they play their role. But it's like I was saying, it's a crazy dynamic, because you get people that want to join the team because of how you are with your wife.
Of course.
Like the devil is so busy, But it's all about, and see, this is one of the main things I appreciate about you is, and even just with us, which is the thing that we know we've been doing, La Cosa Nostra, that whole little thing of just practicing real unconditional love. Not necessarily saying I get to do whatever I want to do. Not necessarily saying I get to take advantage of this. Not necessarily saying I get to just run over whatever. But it's just knowing that humanity can exist in this relationship. I get to be a human being. I get to make a mistake. I get to fuck up. I get to be human.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those are the things that we make sure we practice. And I don't know how many couples, they talk about that. And they have their, like, I think about Will and Jada.
Mm-hmm.
And we really don't know the details of their relationship, but these motherfuckers they've been together 30 some odd years.
Wow.
Now through this time, we've been hearing like, oh, this is going on, that's going on.
I feel like that's their business. Like what people like to do, what works for them is their business. There are all different kinds of people. There are all different kinds of preferences. What works for them is their business. You know what I mean? If I'm worried about what's going on with them, I'm not doing enough if I'm worried about what's going on with them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I live my life with that same pretense. What is for me is for me. What's for you is for you. And that ain't really my business. Even with the common motherfucker. What's for you is for you. And that's not my business.
Right.
So,
it's just staying focused and, like you say, just working on watering your grass.
Definitely.
Staying what's true to your relationship, doing what you got to do for your relationship, making sure you're doing your part.
Definitely.
Not necessarily letting nobody trick you. Like, after this long, I don't even know if it's something that I can hear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody could, I don't know if can nobody tell me nothing about you?
That's what it's about.
Yeah, like, after this long, what's this after?
And having that comfortability to know that we're both open enough with each other where you would, you know what I'm saying, when you would give each other the benefit of the doubt to say if something happened, they would have came to me and said something, or if something happened and it comes up, they got enough respect for me to tell the truth,
Of course.
If either one of those things are present, I think you can be okay, because everybody fuck up. But if you know that you can trust your partner enough to, one, either tell you when they fuck up, or two, when they caught in some shit, be, man or woman enough to tell the truth, then y'all can be okay and recover. But if you got somebody that's just gonna constantly lie, you can't deal with that.
What if they want to lie just to save the situation, or like I
No,
talked
you can't
about?
deal with that, because now I don't know you. I can't trust you, because how you gonna keep lying in my face? Now you want me to believe I'm crazy?
So you want them to be voluntary,
Yes,
or
and do
just tell you, hey,
yes, be
babe, I just made a
voluntary.
mistake. Just come right in. And
Be
tell
better in one way or another. Be better by not doing this shit again, or be better by learning how to not let this shit get back to me. Like,
just be neat.
In one way or another, do better. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not condoning anybody that chooses to cheat,
Right,
or
and
anything like
that's all
that.
it is.
But
It's just understanding, like, and I tell women this, like, they hold this thing, like they swear they swear they in it for forever. Like when we tell ourselves till the door closed, but we really practice that. But I hear people and I hear about situations and I hear about deal breakers. And I ask myself, like, how deep is it? Like, how long are you in it for? Like, what's your purpose? Like,
I mean, I get that.
it's
I feel
a goal.
like
You got to have more than love. It can't just be
again,
me and this person.
right.
It got to be everything that y'all got.
But so many people are not in it for more than love. Like, we know we're building a legacy,
right?
You know. But so many people don't think that way. And when you're not thinking that way, then it's easy to want to throw some shit away because it's not easy, you know?
Exactly.
But when you know you got a goal in mind, I mean, we got a goal in mind to raise these kids differently. We know it's a lot of these motherfuckers. And we know it's not easy, but we know we're going to raise them in a way where they're going to be special.
Exactly.
They're going to make a difference in this world. And I think, again, it goes back to intention.
Solid foundation does that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to provide, regardless of people's imperfections, regardless of the fact that the world isn't perfect. If the world were perfect, who's to say everybody would be like, 1 + 1? Maybe it might be 2 and 1. Who knows? Like, I'm not the type to want to make the rules, but I know that for the way that society is right now, you got to do what works for you and find a way to make your family and your household successful.
That's true. So instead of, it's almost like reverse thinking. So instead of thinking there's this one thing that could tear up my situation, there's this one thing that could make me walk away from my situation, reverse it and say there is no thing that could tear up what I'm building. Because I mean, it's just when you just transfer the thought process, like.
But let's not sit here and be naive that it doesn't take that other person having the respect enough to know.
That's first. That's true. Don't forget
I want
that.
to be here, because you can't be sitting up here operating like you don't want to be here. Don't take me for granted.
Right.
That's a different story. So it takes both sides being conscious enough and intentional enough to want to see it work.
That's true. Let me ask you a question. You walk on a dog. Your dog is very well trained. Great dog. The dog listens to you, do whatever you say. Everybody in the neighborhood know you have a nice, wonderful dog, a great dog, a dog that does everything it's supposed to do for its owner. Well-trained listener. So one day, a neighbor walks up with a treat. Hey, I like your dog. You have a nice dog. Well trained, he listens well, does everything he's supposed to do. I want to give him a treat. Do you let the dog take the treat, or do you stop the dog? Because the dog naturally is going to just see a treat. He's not going to say, hey, this treat ain't coming from the owner.
Honestly, my personality, I know I'm not going to stop them, because they're probably trying to be nice. Like, it would have to happen. It would have to happen enough times where I feel like it has an adverse effect for me to be like, no. Because I'm just not that type of person. So I know I would let them give them a treat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really just how, like, a lot of times work, in a lot of ways, situations just become more understandable, I guess. Not necessarily excusable, but more understandable.
That was a pretty good one. I didn't see where you were going with that. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And again, that just goes back to my personality. That's how I am. Like, I try to be thoughtful of everyone's thought pattern. And I'm thoughtful enough to realize that if you're offering my dog a treat that costs you money, you don't have to be nice. Like, why would I want to be an asshole? Now, if I notice my dog is shitty or something after the fact, nah, I'm cool. He don't need it. You know what I'm saying? But if I genuinely feel like you're trying to be nice, nah, I'm not gonna deny it. And it's the same thing. If I genuinely feel like you made a mistake, you know, if I genuinely feel like you're being a human being and you made a mistake, that's something different than just being an unconscious asshole that don't care, you know?
Right. And see, that question was on my mind because a couple weeks ago I had a interview when I was talking with somebody and they going through an ugly divorce right now, and he's taking his whole life. He's just being railroaded just off a few minutes, a fucked up mistake. And I don't know, I just always think about that. I
saw that episode. What did he do wrong?
I mean, I would have to go back and watch it.
He ain't do nothing wrong.
But I mean, but stuff happens in relationships.
Yeah, it just didn't work out.
Stuff happens in relationships. And, you know, I always like to poll people in relationships to see if there is a deal breaker. Not necessarily to pinpoint whether they're an unconditional lover or a conditional lover. I just want to see if people, what if there is a deal breaker, what it is.
For me, my deal breaker is not allowing me to be me. You know what I mean? Like, we share our life together. If I cannot be me, then you know, why would I share my life with you? As much as I want this or that, like, we both have to be understanding. There are certain things about each other that we're not going to like, of course.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hopefully you were made for me and I was made for you, but this isn't a perfect world. So the things about each other that we don't necessarily like, we're going to have to be understanding. And I know that I'm going to continue to practice that. And I need you to continue to practice that. And if you can't, you know, then it's a real problem.
No, because it's like you say, it's everything that we build and going forward. It's not necessarily like an ownership thing. It's not necessarily a me and you thing. It's in the grand scheme, it's this thing of ours.
Definitely, like, for real. We gotta both want it.
We got these kids involved. It's 5 of them. 5 different personalities, and then on top of that, we got to be individuals.
And trying to navigate this economy, this system at this time, it's a lot.
All of that, and just having the ability, or just not necessarily the ability, having the freedom to do or choose whatever you want in any situation, but waking up and choosing the person every day. I think what works for me most is the fact that you don't play parent. You're not mom to me. See what I'm saying?
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, like I don't even know if you have necessarily rules. I remember that one time I came in the house at 4:00. You weren't really a fan of that. But
I have to check with myself all the time. And I've become a really big person in like self-awareness. Let me check with myself about how I feel before I come to you with it. You know what I'm saying? Let me realize if this is my ego, my jealousy, my this or that before I come to you with something.
But after this long, it's nice to still be jealous because it lets you know that those feelings are still there. But what would you be jealous of? I mean, you know.
I mean, anything. Like, people are...
Your bill's the one getting paid.
That's great, but I mean, things still come up.
Right, and see, I'm glad you think like that.
I didn't even mean to minimize it or anything, but you know, you have to be willing to acknowledge that other aspect. But let me also acknowledge the fact that the goals that I'm able to chase, the life that I've been able to live, and deciding like, nah, I'm all in on this business is a luxury that I'm afforded because you do handle a lot of our daily necessities. So I want to acknowledge that, you know, and say that I'm grateful for that, and it does put me in an awesome position to pursue my goal.
Big dog business is what you're saying. I mean, it takes it's a role, and like I said, I ain't in there horn tooting nothing like that, but it takes a role for this mindset to happen. I like to place myself in, and this is why I make sure when I see any service, men and women, I make sure I thank them. I like to see myself and what I provide to you as the Army. You know how you got some people in the Army, you know how you got some people in the world who really don't understand the freedom that the military provide. They want to see what they're doing, and because they fall into different political classes or different social groups,
They want to be oblivious to the
they
sacrifice that has to
they
be
want
made
to
by
be
somebody.
oblivious to the sacrifice that has to be made by somebody. And they want to say shit like, "Oh, you a baby killer," or "You do
Right,
this,"
or you
or "You do
choose to
this."
do that.
Not understanding, motherfucker, that I'm providing a level of safety and freedom to you that you don't even get a chance to get scared by, because I'm stopping the shit before it happens. You see what I'm saying?
I feel like that goes both ways though, because
And
like
I'm
we were
providing,
talking about, you gotta let's acknowledge the people that
and I'm
provide that opportunity, but let's also acknowledge that if the shit hits the fan on a local level, you gotta protect yourself too.
Of course.
So it's always that balance of having that appreciation, but being willing to do what you gotta do for yourself too.
But it's also looking to the powers that are providing these different types of protections, or
it's a balance. You show that appreciation for sure.
Yeah, it's something you have to make sure you do. And see, that's how I look at myself, and that's how I like to operate. And it helps me even in times where you don't hear those thank yous, or where you don't really feel that what you're doing is working, or you don't necessarily feel present or needed, or you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. You just have to make sure you remind yourself of what you're doing. Like, I'm here to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm seen, whether I'm acknowledged, whether I'm here for the purpose that I'm supposed to be here for you to exist, for them to exist. Whatever the fuck y'all want to do, you can goddamn change whatever you want to do right now. You could be, whatever it is.
And I appreciate
that's
that.
my purpose, and that's the mindset that I had to develop, or not necessarily had to develop. That's the mindset that I wanted to develop, to make sure that I'm able to provide that, and that's why people talk with me, and that's why people do the things. They come to me for a different advice, and because I live a similar life to a lot of people, and but they see what I'm doing, and they give me that credit for it, and they ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Because they see everything, and this is real, because this is a real life. People are in relationships, and they go through shit like this, and people have dreams, and they start out like we didn't start out ambitious as fuck like this. We started out just in love, and they grew and went from 1 to 2 babies to 3 to 4 to goddamn. Shit. You don't give me no breaks.
Cut it out.
Like, damn.
Cut it out. But no, yeah, it's literally just been, just love, determination, and just like, knowing that we want to keep this thing going, and we want the best thing for everybody. For real.
Is you letting somebody come and fuck up your shit?
I'm always a firm believer in, like, I don't force things. So, that's ultimately up to you. Do I have any scenario where it's like, oh, no, I'm done? Like, no, because I don't sit here and think of things like that. So that's ultimately up to you. And I do take pride in giving you that freedom and that responsibility to handle our situation with care, pretty much.
Freedom? You mean you was going through my phone the other day, man?
No, I was not.
I put it in one spot, and I woke up, it was moved.
You a liar. I don't go through your phone. I don't got time for that.
I put it in one spot, and I woke up the next morning.
I don't got time for that. I had a wedding all week. The stuff that was on my mind. Like,
I ain't even talking about last week. I'm talking about the time
either way,
before.
okay? I don't got time for that.
And I just be seeing stuff, and I don't tell you.
That you love is I don't got time.
I be
for that.
seeing stuff,
because sometimes
and I
think about it. Now I'll pick up your phone in a minute if I need to Google something or whatever. If it's on my mind at that moment and I need to do it, I'm gonna pick up your phone. Of course, I know that code. I'm gonna use it.
We got the same phone.
My phone be with the kids all the time, or I don't know where it's at or something. But know and trust me that I am not
Police.
going through your phone. Ain't nobody going through your phone. I got better
But it's
things
cool
to
though.
do.
It's cool.
I got better
It's cool.
things to do.
It's cool. You know, I don't trip because I don't.
They like that stuff. They like crazy girls that go through their phone and stuff. He not gonna get the satisfaction.
I don't want it. I don't want it because see, we know what we building, and we gonna look back on this thing, and we gonna just be able to reflect. We gonna see all of the great things that we built, and we continuing to go on and on and on and on and on. One of these 5 kids, or one of us, one of these investments we've been making, one of these jobs, one of these celebrities, one of these clients, one of these somethings is gonna pay off for us.
Oh yeah, multiple.
And we're gonna look back at this and we're gonna be like, you know what, we did it, we got this far, we made it. What's next?
Period.
That's how I go. You know what we always said?
Till the door closed.
To the door closed.
Till the door closed.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Trent the Truth Show. Please make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Follow us on social media, Trent the Truth. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you want to be a guest, email me, TrentTheTruthShow@gmail.com. Again, it's TrentTheTruthShow@gmail.com. Thanks again. Tell your friends. Watch it together.